see it. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Durango and Silverton map, Transport Fever 2. I'm Matt from the Rattlebunny's Den, and we're going to continue building today. I've added some trains and some cars to some trains just to get the uptick flowing here. Let's slow things down just a hair. Did a little bit of changes to the station here. As you can tell, I added a few cargo platforms. Yeah, and that's about it. Didn't do a lot of other changes. Doubled up on some trains that were doing well and we're kind of running behind. But otherwise, that's about where we're at. Now, what are we going to do today? Today, we are going to go over here to Durango. Let's go across the mountain. And we're going to build the Durango-Silverton line, finally. But in order to do that, let me pause before the train gets in the way. We need to rebuild this area. And we need to follow these canyons through Hermosa, down along the river on the right-hand channel over here. And we will eventually, we'll go through Elk Park. Gonna make a small, like, hiker drop-off, station there that can service Carson. We'll get some stagecoaches, getting passengers and stuff to Carson. And then we'll build a nice little complex here in Silverton for the steel mill, and we'll get started doing that. We'll have another source of steel, another place to sell off our iron and our coal, and another coal mine here. So let's get started. All right. First things first, we need to get rid of all of this. As nice as that was, it's not going to help us right now. Okay, took it back to the bridge. I'm going to build a diverging bridge right over here. Actually, let's build a little bit of track headed up to it. No, don't do that. Come on. You're going to stay level. And now we'll build the bridge over there. Make a match. Okay. Okay, now I need to get rid of these little end pieces, because hooking this up is going to be fun. All right, so what we'll do, we'll go from this track to this track. We'll just connect those straight through. And the switch over for these is going to be interesting. Let's see here. First one we're going to do, it's going to be up here a little ways. It's going to go across onto that. And its neighbor is going to go across over here. Is that in the same place? No, it is not. Okay. And then we need to come from over here to the other side. Hopefully it will allow it. And it will. And let's make sure those are in the same place. Those ended up a little off, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, now what we need to do is some double slipping action. So we will double slip this, and this, this, and this. And this will serve as the crossovers that we just deleted. So let's just check our lines. All right. And it's looking like both of them are able to use the tracks that they want to use. And no disturbance in service. Okay, great. So that's done. We're going to do signals here. Another one here coming into the station. This one protecting the road headed out. And we'll start building the track. Nice big curve going over here. Keep the speed up as best we can. We are building in mountain canyons and so on and so forth, so it may not do what we want it to do every time, but we'll get there. Okay, now we need a target. We got ourselves coming out of town, but Hermosa is the first town that we're going to go through. And we're going to build the station right here. Why? Because, well, because. Mainly it's the level that it's on. I'll show you here real quick. As you can see by the topographical map, this level, this area of the map, and this area here are on the same level. Or at least appear to be. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to redo this road and try to come in along the river right there. And now if we come way up here, and let's go over to Silverton and have a look at where it's at. The rivers are all, the surface of the river is always all on the same thing, but we can see that it's one line higher up. So that means when we're coming into the canyon, the river's always at the same level. We actually need to be up in this area, this section here, in order to keep the train level going all the way to Silverton, which is kind of what we want to do. We don't want a lot of hill climbing because that just slows everything down, and we're in this for a profit, right? So let's make sure that we're getting this set up properly. It's going to cost quite a bit. Let's see, one track. Is that straight? I don't know. Or is that straight? That seems more straight. Straighter? More straight? Straightish? On the straight, sort of. Okay, so 1.6 million of our 28 million that we have built up here for a station. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to configure the station to add another platform. And it's going to be a passenger platform. Fortunately, we can't add another, I don't think. Oh, we can. All right, well, we're gonna add this in here, but it's going to be a runaround track for freight cars. It's not actually going to be a freight stop right here yet. Potentially, we'll build one on the other side of the river, but not at the moment. So, okay. Now we need to reconstruct this road, because this is going to be like way seriously messed up. Is that, how's that for my English? Way seriously messed up. No, let's do the curvy roads because they're prettier. And what we're trying to do is stay on the level. And we will just kind of slide right into town. Can we avoid killing that one? Would be good. Well, we're going to have to delete some anyway. So we'll build that one to there. Sorry guys, you got to go. That one's got to go. And then we will build a cross street. All right, and that should let us get to the tracks. All right. Nice big curve. This was a real track. Decades down the road, they would probably refer to that as the Hermosa Curve. Oh, nice little bridge coming into town. That works. change that to the wooden bridge. Hook that up. I've never liked them when they diverge on a bridge because it just, well, I'll show you. They never come out right. We could build that, but it still wants to build the inside guardrail and not remove this guardrail, and well, that's a problem. That's not going to work. So what we're going to have to do, this is a lot of bridges. Okay, that's different. We'll see how well that works. Need to double slip that. That brings us to a runaround track. And we will continue on. We'll do the signaling as we come through. Second pass. Nice little gentle S-curve coming out of town, which will allow this to skate right onto here. Which will then allow us to double slip this. All right. All right, let's finish this station here because it looks kind of crazy that way. People need a way to get across, although it's kind of unrealistic to have them cross underground this close to a river. The game lets us do it, so what the hell. Let's pretend they have perfect water retention, even back in 1871 where we are now. In case you didn't notice, I did roll the game forward a bit so we would have the money to do this thing. Which is always good, to have the money to build the things you want to build. All right. So now we'll go back here, continue building over this way. Now here we have a nice coal plant or coal mine. But we're going to come around the outside across this way. How's that crossing look? All right. Where's that headed? Okay, we're going to do something about that road too because that just looks awful. So that's fine. Let's make sure we didn't totally pollute that. Nope, that's fine too. Gonna grab the smoothing gun here real quick because I'll forget this. Just to get rid of that gap right there. All right, now let's get rid of that because, ew, gross. It's terrible looking. And we'll just do a country road in here. It should give us connectivity, which it does. And we can stop it before it, you know, dams the river pretty much. Okay. Keeping it as flat as we can. Collisions are not good because that means coming across the inside is going to be hard. Okay. Got across that okay. That's going to tell us that we're headed uphill right now, which is fine because we do want to head uphill. Bring up the contour lines again. Hello. And as you can see, this level here is even with that, so it's going to give us a nice level cross to go across that way. And when I did this earlier, this is the second time around, the game crashed on me. So let's hope it doesn't do that this time. All right, so we build across, and we want it to be level. So we're going to tell it to be level. And we don't want a whole bunch of bridges. So we're going to go ahead and build that one. And we're going to build this one. Kind of bring that one along that way. And this is the fun part of building along the walls of a canyon. I kind of enjoy it. Sort of fun. Just got to try to make it look pretty decent. Got a curve coming up here. Keep that as high speed as we can. And it's going to make all kinds of changes to the topography, which is very expensive. It will add a bunch to the cost of your rail. So you want to stay out as close to the water's edge as you can to reduce the amount of land manipulation you have to do. It's never going to be perfect, but we can do pretty well as long as we stay somewhat believable. And like I said, this is never going to be totally historically accurate or even accurate to the route that is there today. I kind of like that. Oh, got rid of our little tunnel. That's all right. Yeah, bummer. Well, we'll leave that one white bridge. Why not? Keep this tunnel. Just a little old tunnel. And get an idea of where we're going. We got a ways to go. Let this do a little tunnel as well. Number 33 is our minimum curve at this stage. That will change as the trains get faster. We'll have to make allowances for that change. Let's bring this out a little bit further before we make that curve. I want to stay closer to the water as best we can. Make it an interesting curve. Let's hope the inside's faster than 33. It is. All right, now this should be fairly straight. Fairly. Long stretch of straight. Gentle little bend there. And the river that this is in real life is the Animas River. And if you haven't heard, the Animas River has gone through a tragedy in modern times. It seems that there was I don't know if it was a Bureau of Land Management crew or a contractor or something, but they were working on sealing up one of the many, many mines up in this canyon. And from what I understand, a tractor or something broke through a wall in this mine. The mine was flooded with water, which was contaminated with all kinds of wonderful chemicals. And unfortunately, I'm not sure what the status of the river is now, but unfortunately, it killed off a substantial amount of the life in the river when that happened, which is really sad because the Animas River has always been one of the most beautiful places in Colorado. Oh, this thing wants to make bridges everywhere, doesn't it? All right, it's going to draw us in a little bit from the river's edge, which is fine. Just keep following the contours of the land, staying level, making it look pretty. You know, as you do. Right. These little wooden bridges would be pretty common. Some of the mountain railways. The object, of course, is to build the railway in such a way that it doesn't have to change elevation too much, even through the mountains. The game makes it fairly easy because the river is always on the same level. You don't get any, if you notice, there's no waterfalls and no rapids that appear on the river. I'm hoping that someday they do something to add that to the game, maybe in Transport Fever 3, or if that comes along, or maybe not. Okay, we're going to try and, I think we're going to tunnel through this here. Let's start the tunnel here, because that's where we want to come out. And we'll just connect that up. Still stays within our 33 mile per hour radius, which is good. And we can knock this back a little bit so I can get the right curve here. Yeah, we want to stay on the level. Thank you very much. If we can avoid building too many bridges, that will keep the cost down. Tunnels as well. As you can imagine, it's very expensive to actually tunnel through rock. And the game reflects that pretty well. And this is what we got so far. Gets a little squirrely down here. That's all right. So we'll slow things down a bit. What happened here? Oh, nothing. That's just rock. Okay. Thought that was a weird tunnel entrance. Happens from time to time. So we'll just continue building along here. We're getting towards Elk Park, so let's have an idea. Let's have a look at Elk Park. We're not going to be building next to the river. Topography of the town is all pretty much on the same level. So Elk Park gets to be gutted. Awesome for Elk Park. All right, so let's see here. Where's all the cargo? Cargo's all up there, mostly, so we'll build in that section there. But before we do that, we need to bulldoze. Yeah, that's costing a ton of money. Absolute ton of money. Okay. We will start with a train with a passenger station. All right, let's get this as even with the road as we can. Town is on a slight curve. We could use a curve station, I guess, but not quite at that point yet. All right, so there we have that. And then this is how we're going to configure this. This is our second passenger track. And then this is going to be a passenger platform. Why won't you let me build there? Let's bulldoze this house and this house. See if it lets me do it from there. Yeah, now it'll let me do it. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and just get rid of all the houses here because it's going to be an issue. Now we're going to build in a platform for cargo at this town. And we'll put the platform in first. We'll put in our cargo track. And to make it believable, let's go with cargo buildings, and we'll do a single, hopefully. Okay. Maybe just a small one. Just a couple of small cargo docks. That in between, that'll work. All right. Now we click on this, it covers all the cargo area, which is, or all the commercial area, which is good. We'll get to the rest of the town here in a minute. Let's find where we left the track and continue on building that. Let's go a little further forward. Just trying to avoid bridging here if we can. Try not to put a bridge where it's not needed. There's no need to slow that down. We'll keep that at 75. Keep the speed up as best we can. Now, one of the things we're going to have to do, bulldoze that and bulldoze that. I'll build you through here again in a minute. That is starting to build quite the embankment, so try to take this one a little bit further inland. Yeah, now we're getting town. Let's see here. That'll collide there, so let's bring this one out to where we need it to not collide. Right. Let's crow flies this and see what it does. Let's use the right side of the track. Okay. That's fine. Back to double. And hook it up here. And we know we're in town. Now, one of the things we need is a crossover to here. Thought I deleted those buildings. I guess not. And we need to double slip that. That will get us access to the cargo platform. And then we need to exit town. Let's get this exit done. Let's make sure that looks okay. It does. Double slip that one. We did do that, right? Yeah, I just did that. I swear sometimes my brain leaks. Leaky brains. Sorry about that little cough. Oh, it's that time of year. All right, so we said we were going to build a station down here, but that's a ways off, so we'll get there. And luckily for us, this area is fairly just flat, so it makes it pretty easy. Some of the wide floodplains of the river. And we're almost there for the Carson cutoff, let's call it that. Mostly it's going to be freight trains running up here initially, although we will get a passenger train going soon. The Carson Road comes down to here where it meets up. But then, let's take a look at the topographics here. See, the road goes downhill to a low point right here, so we'll put our station right out here. Give us a chance to get some things, get the road down to it. So we will pop that one in about there. And we'll configure that. Another passenger platform like we did with the other station. Go to the miscellaneous. Give it the crossovers. Right, we'll do a regular platform for cargo, because yes, they will be doing cargo delivery here too. That happens to me all the time, offsetting that for some reason. Get our cargo track on here. All right, now let's get out of this. Let's build our road. Yeah, that's actually, hang on. We want a couple of cargo buildings in here, but we're just going to do the one cargo building. Do it down here. See if we can get this road to do something interesting. So we have that portion near the passenger entrance. We have this portion near the cargo entrance. Let's see what it does in between. Give it curvy. There we go. Just a little sway in the hips there. And then we will run from here. It's kind of lazy, but we will run from here. It's going to be quite the hill climb. That's right. Run from there to there. Now it's connected to roads, which is what we need to make it viable. And we will now connect up the track. Track laying in this game is a dream compared to other games. And it looks pretty realistic too, I think. I really enjoy this game a lot. Gonna try to keep the speed of these trains up a bit. So we'll bring that all the way back to there. Double slip that. And things are going to get kind of interesting up in this portion of the canyon. Already got some interesting tunneling and bridges. I'm going to try to avoid that. We may cross the river twice, though, it looks like. Yeah, let's plan on doing that. So if we're planning on that, let's bring our bridge or our track over and kind of aim it for what we're looking for. So we can then hook this up. Let's make sure that's going to go well. That looks right. And we'll double slip this track. Alrighty. Alright, and we will make that wooden bridge. All this will get upgraded eventually down the road. We have access to a bunch of other bridges, but they're not period accurate right at this point in the game, so I try to not use those. Alrighty. Let's give this a little bit of a curve going this way. Then we're gonna try to hop over to this area here. I want to do that right around here, I think. Speeds are all fine. All right, now, I don't think we need to cross the river again, other than when we get up to Silverton. We're just about there. And at the end of this, we will put a train on it. And we will ride on the train. Won't be a whole lot that we'll get out of it, but we will ride on the train. All right. So there's Silverton. We are going to transmogrify this little hill here, and we're going to put our station right out over here, I think. Actually, we could put it over here. Yeah, because if we do it the other way, we'll either have to turn sharp or we'll have to cut through town. It's expensive to cut through town, so where are we going to build our station? Let's see. I think I know where. Bulldoze that and that. And that. And we'll fix these up on the way back too. Let's see. Road. Let's just upgrade this road. And in this one, we're going to try and use that curved station, I think. But I don't know if I like the curved station. Only gives you an option of 2 or 4 tracks. No bridge. Yeah, it's not going to work for us, unfortunately. All right, so that's not a problem. we will get rid of the curved road. And we'll put in our station first. Nice thing is we can set it up and we can set the road to meet the station. Let's knock this back a little bit. Alrighty. And there's our road connected back up. Let's make sure we can make this station into what we want it to be. And we'll have to get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. I'm wondering if we shouldn't build a separate cargo platform out there. We'll put it all together at first. Just mirroring the what's already there. Platforms. Get our cargo platform on here. Throw our track in there. And I think that's all set for right now. So yeah, that works out pretty good. Ooh, that was close. Almost clicked and built a station way out in the middle of nowhere. Alrighty. And this is all basically flat, so we'll just crow flies this in here. Make sure I get that on the right track. That looks all right. This one in here too. And while we're not going to build beyond this point today, I'm going to go ahead and lay the track as if we were. So we don't have to do it later. And as the town builds, we don't have to disturb too many townsfolk. They tend to get cranky. Put that in there, keep freight train speed up best we can. Oh, that's long. Okay, cool. Looks like it works though. Double slip that. Let's check these. They're not too horrible looking. They actually don't look like they're going to do too much damage to anything traveling past it. All right. So there we have this. There's little things that we need to do. Let's see. For instance, have to have a way to get the coal and the iron ore out here. So we're going to build a truck stop out there. This is going to be mostly dropping off. But we are going to configure it to make it a little bit bigger. That way we can keep the steel that it makes from going away. All right. And then we need another one here. And we will configure that one. Nope, not that one. Sorry. This one. Configure this one too to make it a little bit bigger. And then, the fun part, we're going to put in a passenger stop right next door. Oh, maybe right next, no. Yeah, right next door here. Shorter walking distance. Now in town, since this is only going to cover those 3 buildings right there, we need to get some sort of a delivery system going down. So we get people delivery, which will have our first 2 stops here. Let's do a second. 2 here. Another couple here. And then we want 1 freight drop-off area that's going to get all of this stuff. And we will put it... Actually, we'll put it over... Will that work over here? Yeah, it should work. We'll put it right over here. Should cover all the freight in this town, at least what we have so far. So let's do a couple of routes. New line, going from cargo to cargo. That is going to be trucking. This is Silverton, so do we have an SIL yet? I don't think we do. No. Trucking, Silverton, and that's local delivery. Line 2. Well, nobody's used this one yet, so we'll go ahead and use it. Click on the halt. Here. 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 Back on the halt. Then here. Here. And here. Makes it kind of a figure 8 kind of thing. Gives the station a place for everything to turn around. Uses both platforms, which is good. All right, and then we need another. This one's going to be bus Silverton. Local. Then we're going to have another one that goes from here out to here. That is going to be trucking, Silverton, steel, production. Okay. Far enough away on roads that we're not going to, I mean, it would take forever for the wagons to get from Ophir to here. It's kind of the point of building a railroad for that. So we're going to build a trucking depot out here, or a vehicle depot, however you want to look at it. And we will put that over here in our little industrial area. And let's see here. We need to buy a couple of horse-drawn carriages. We're going to go with, we got 4 stops, so I do 6 of those, and we'll assign those to Bus Silverton Local. And then we're going to buy 12 of these. not 12. 10 of these. 2 of those are going to be on the trucking Silverton local delivery. And the rest of them are going to be on trucking Silverton steel production. All right, so that's all set. Now we need our big route. We're going to do the freight train route first. And we're going to go from here at Silverton to here, Carson, to here at Elk Park. And we do not have one down here at Hermosa yet, but we'll deal with that later on. And that's going to come in to here at Durango. And then it's going to go back to Elk Park and back to Carson. And then it'll end up back at Silverton, which is fine. Now what we need to do is add some signals. So we'll start up here. Actually, let's name this first. Rail. Silverton. Steel production. So that's what it is ultimately. Let's do the passenger line too while we're at it. Passenger. 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 We do have a passenger station in Hermosa. Hard to hit that from way up in the air. And we do have a passenger station here. And we come back to Hermosa. Well. And then Elk Park. And then Carson. And that will end up back in Silverton, which is fine. So this is, oh, sorry, rail. Durango, Silverton, regional PAX. PAX is a short abbreviation for passenger, for those of you that don't know. Most people in the transportation industry, my experience was mostly airlines, but they all refer to them as PAX. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, so we got our line manager done. Let's get our signals in here. These are going to be one-way signals. Yes, they are. And we got one coming into town here. Yeah, it's gonna be upset with us because I don't have a crossover here yet. So let's do that. All right, so that's done because that's the end of the line. So we do need a crossover. We're going to try to space out some signals. So that it kind of makes sense. If this is your first time watching, I tend to place signals before bridges just because you get a heavy freight train sitting on a wooden bridge. It's not a safe place to be. So the bridges are places that you do it. And then also road crossings, I do that as well. Stations act as their own signals, so we don't really have to worry about that. No road crossing here. So we will give it a signal before the station. And we'll give this one a signal before the station as well. And we'll get a little ways down here and put a couple of signals in. A little ways down here, a couple of signals in. We want to keep the traffic moving. And we're getting close to town. So we'll put another couple signals in just outside of town. This should be, that's Elk Park. And we have one coming into town here. And one coming into town here. Now we have a long stretch without any stations. So I just try to use common sense and distances to put stuff. And we have a tunnel. Go before the tunnel, just like the bridges. Now we're going to go halfway in between these. And before the bridge. Another one about here. Another one here. Before the tunnel. Before the tunnel. Bit of a cough today. Now this one here, since the bridge is so close, we're not going to do one there, but we will do one before the bridge. On the corner. Another before the bridge. Another before the bridge. Actually, let's get rid of that one. And we'll do that one. This one will be before the bridges. And before the road. Alright, so that works. And we got one before we head into town. And at the split here. Yeah, that works. And we're almost all the way back to Durango already. Okay, and these ones out here don't matter. We've already set it up so that the one-way signals are in place. As you can see, they're taking opposite sides of the track now. Oh, that's right. We meant that to be a bypass, didn't we? Okay, so let's put a bypass signal in. This will be an anyway signal. It's going to be actually let's put in a waypoint. Then we need to go back to our Silverton Regional. No, that one's got a place to go. Silverton Steel Production. And right after Durango, I'm going to add a station, which is that waypoint. And then right after Oak Park here, we're going to add that waypoint again. That will get the freight train from going through the passenger station when it doesn't have to. It'll use the runaround track, which is fine. Okay, so that's fine. Let's make sure that the rest of the route is behaving the way it should. Okay. And we're going to have a little bit of cleanup to do. We already did that here by reattaching the roads and getting everything together. So one of the things we have to do here in Carson is we need to do a drop off and so forth for passengers, but we'll do that on another visit through. What is going on here? Okay. So Carson, coming from Silverton to Carson, we want that to be on track 2. That's fine. Coming to Carson from Elk Park, we want that to be on track 1. Thank you very much. Okay. That's fine. That's all looking good. Now here we have to do a little bit of cleanup. So we don't want to leave these guys stranded from the rest of town. And, you know, that sort of thing. Oh, looks like we have another fun thing to do. Let's go terminals. Let's see. That's terminal 1? No. That terminal 2. That terminal 1. That should work. Did that work? It did work. Okay, awesome. Now, let's see here. What's the best way? Streets, we'll use a medium street. We're going to raise it up 4 because that's what we need to get across the tracks here. Not sure if this is going to work. Let's try brick. It gets a little close there, but not too bad. Let's see if we can drag it a little further. Okay. Bring that back down to level. Ooh, yeah, it does not allow us to hook up there. That's sad. All right, time to do some bulldozing. See if we can get that to hook up. Yep. And we'll just do a diagonal. Hook that up. Got a nice little swoop in there. And then we have both sides of the town covered. And then over here, I hate doing this. Let's see if we can make a decent level crossing. Well, there's a little bit of a hump there, but that's fine. That'll work fine. But now we have to move this signal. No big deal. Move it to here. All right, and that town's all set. At least as all set as we're going to get it right now. And let's see, what do we have left to do in Hermosa? Nothing. Hermosa's all set, and we didn't even mess with Durango too much. Alrighty, so now that we have a line that goes up the canyon, we're going to build another train depot over here. Just doesn't make sense to keep building them only over in Ophir. I suppose we could. Yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna we have $10 million left, and building another train depot right now is going to be an expense we don't want to deal with. So let's build our trains over here. Okay, actually, that's the wrong one. Not that one. That one. No. Pay attention. There we go, Matt. Good job. Okay, so we're going to buy a vehicle. This is 37 with 15,000. 37's as fast as it can go. And what do we got here? 45. It's mostly on the flat. And that's 47 with 10,890. All right, we'll do this one. It's a bit on the expensive side right now, but that's all right. We'll add that in there. Now we have steel as commodities on the route. Right now we have iron and steel. So we're going to build gondolas and flat cars. So let's see here. 35 miles an hour is as fast as that gondola goes. So let's put 6 of those in there. Well, actually, let's put 8 of those in there. And then the flat car, we'll actually do the flat car with side stakes. It goes a little faster. Keep the train speed up. We'll do 4 of those. All right. And then we do my usual thing. At this point in history in the United States, it was required to have a caboose on every train. So that's what we're going to try and do. Okay, so we got $4 million here to buy this train. We'll buy that one. And then we're going to buy a similar train, but it's going to be passenger cars. And that'll probably be the one that we're going to ride in. Let's go with passenger. We're not going to use those, obviously. Standard passenger car. We'll go with 84 people. And if you hold down shift and click on one of the arrows, you just send it to the end of the train. Okay, so that's our $5,000 or $5 million passenger train. So we'll buy that one. And we're just about out of cash, which is good. Well, it's not good that we're almost out of cash, but it's good that we're getting this built. This first train is going to go on rail, Silverton steel production. And this train is going to go on rail, Durango, Silverton packs. Now, you only have one train. It's going to struggle for a little while. So what we're going to do is we will stick with the passenger train. However, whenever that comes out, let's get the speed up a little bit. And we'll ride it all the way to Silverton. Is this the passenger one? Nope. That's the freight train. There's our train right here. Our little turnaround loop. I haven't made turnaround loops at the ends of the lines yet because I'm going to wait for that until we actually get to the point where the network is pretty much complete. And then we'll worry about getting the trains turned around so they always go forward. At least giving them the opportunity to do that. But this is kind of true to life. You know, when you only had ends of the track, the train didn't have the option to loop itself around. It had to go in reverse, which it did. All right, let's speed this up so we can get us moving here. Oh boy. Lots of traffic on this line over here. Seems to be fairly organized. Okay. We should be coming out of here pretty soon. There goes the freight train. Once it crosses this track here, we should start moving. Maybe not. Nope, we need to wait. So, it is the dead of winter right now as I'm recording this in 2022. So if you're a few years down, we are still going through the COVID thing. They're telling us now that the COVID-19 virus will probably be with us forever. You know, but I try to stay away from things like that. Try not to discuss political stuff on my channel because my opinions are fairly strong about certain things, and it's just, you know, best to keep that stuff to myself, I think. So now we have to do the big wait here. And I think this train is going to actually end up reversing all the way to Silverton, which is, you know, interesting. Get down on the train. I do have it sped up just a little bit. We don't want this video to be 4 hours long. We got some passengers waiting here. Everybody wants to go to Cortez or Durango. Empty train back with some iron ore. I try to set up the lines when I do build the lines. I try to set them up so they're dragging stuff back and forth. You know what I mean? It's not just a one-way trip and then empty coming back. It's really not an efficient way to do things. You know. Oh, this train really moves along. We might catch up with the cargo train. Cargo train? Cargo train. Freight train. Freight train. Cargo train. Freight train. Yep. Oh, who knows where my mind's at right now. But this is our little climb over the Durango Pass. It's the only time this train will be on the Durango Pass, unless we change the route up a lot, which we might do. We may end up with a circuitous route around different areas of the map, but then we might not. Never know where this thing's going to go. So since we got time, if you like this content and you want to see more and you want to see what happens next, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're on a computer, it's right down below you. If you're on PlayStation or something along those lines, you need to bring up the other menu there right above the title of this thing. But either way, subscribe and you'll get you'll either get presented in your feed, or if you hit the bell, you'll get notified when a new video comes out. Just recently, as of this video, we're doing a slightly different schedule. We're going to be doing mostly Transport Fever 2. The other game that I'm covering at the moment is Rising Star 2, but while it is interesting, a lot of the stage that we're in right now with that game is just straight grinding, and nobody wants to sit through an hour of grind with nothing new. So we're going to hold on to that until something interesting happens. I'm going to play through it, but you know, like I said, we'll come back to that when something interesting happens. So here's the town of Durango, as we've seen before. There's some stuff waiting over there. And it looks like our freight train is already headed up the valley, which is cool. You can see him. Well, can't see him right now. Not sure what we'll get for passengers on the first trip. Hopefully some. Alright, so let's see how this big crossover works. Why does it want everybody on that platform? To do something about that. We'll get that reorganized, and we'll come to a stop, and then we'll flop to the back, and we won't hear as much chugging. Alrighty, and we have 24 passengers. Want to go at least as far as Hermosa? So here we are on the route we just made. I'm going to stick with calling them routes. Route just to me is part of a tree. That was actually pretty smooth. Somehow I expected problems with that. And there's some of our passengers going to Hermosa the slow way. That route's going to be completely cannibalized, so eventually we'll get rid of that and move the coaches somewhere else. Or replace them. Get rid of them, something. Now, the way we built this train should not have to go too slow. There's not a lot of climbs, and not a lot of, you know, descents either, so it shouldn't overspeed either. There's that weird bridge thing we made. That actually looks kind of cool. At least I think so. Oh, we got lots of passengers here. This might be a profitable line pretty quickly. Alright, so we got 31 now. Not sure what they're all waiting for. The other thing I do when I build the lines is I try to keep the passenger lines, or lines I know a lot of passengers are going to be on, as smooth as far as transitions as I can get. So you'll notice that I build the passenger lines, or the lines that will carry passengers, first, and then I make the freight train conform to whatever we've got going. Here's our first couple of little bridges going by the coal mine. We'll climb just a little bit. And then we're riding along the canyon. Not bad. Now, the Animas River in reality has a whole bunch of rapids and other changes to the topography of the canyon here. I'm not sure exactly the details, but I know it's not perfectly flat on the canyon floor like this game makes it out to be. But this game does a really good job for what it does. I have a lot of fun with it. Wow, it's like a sea of stones. So many stones it almost looks kind of like a graveyard. Weird. But there are boulder fields in the Rockies. There are. Just like there are anywhere. Anywhere where there were glaciers at one point, and there were several glaciers in the Rockies. There's still a few, but they are declining, unfortunately, because the planet's warming up. Still not quite sold on whether or not the planet warming up is all just because of the humans on it, or if it's not just a cycle that the planet's going through. Okay, this should be coming up on the big curve to take that right-hand canyon. We're already in the right-hand canyon, but it's going to swing to the right real heavy here, real hard. It doesn't look too bad. Kind of a nice little ride. Well, so for those of you that are wondering, I grew up in the Louisville, Colorado area, which is right outside of the city of Boulder, which is just outside the city of Denver. I did live in Denver for a little while. Lived in Louisville mostly. Left town when I was 12, moved back east with the family. Just before we had a major tragedy in the family. Unfortunately, we lost Dad in 1983. Not to give myself away for how ancient I am. But it was a rough time growing up as a kid, but loved trains, always did. My dad and my grandfather both worked for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford line out of the Springfield area. Well, that bridge came out better than I thought. A little close there, but alright, so here we have passengers. I'm not sure how many, not many. We don't really have this town set up to gather passengers yet. We'll do that in the next video. So we have 11 passengers going all the way to, probably to Silverton, because we shouldn't have any passengers at the Carson stop yet. We don't have anything going up to Carson. So nothing to get the passengers down there unless, they walk that far. I suppose they could, but I know in Alaska there's a train line where if you're a resident of the area, all you have to do is you call the train company, I guess, or just walk out to the track and you can flag down a train. Something I would love to experience that once in my life, but I don't have to. It'd be fun. Cruising along at 34 miles an hour. Not sure how fast this will get on this track. Maybe 45. I think that's the top speed it can go. I am definitely looking forward to whatever Transport Fever 3 throws at us. Hasn't been announced yet, I don't think. But I'm just speculating. I'm hoping they continue with the series. It's been a lot of fun for me. I started with Train Fever a few years ago, then went to Transport Fever, and now we're in Transport Fever 2. As you'd expect. And I don't see a single passenger here. Will anybody get off? We have 11 on right now. And nobody gets off. Yeah, there's nowhere to go from here. So there's, you need something to get you Carson, that kind of thing. We'll handle that on the next video, like I said. I know I mentioned it before, but if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. That really does help me out. My goal eventually is to do this full-time. It's not about the pay, it's about doing a job that you don't see as work. I think that's the secret to a happy life, is to find a job that you like doing so much. It feels like you're going from home to play, and you just happen to make cash doing it. And there's something for everybody out there. For a long time for me, that was being a mechanic. Unfortunately, health issues in my life have precluded me from being a mechanic anymore. But I've always been a gamer. I started playing video games in Christmas, I think, of 1977, when Mom and Dad brought home it's called a Telstar Arcade. It had 3 games that came with it. There was a little light gun thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say the G word. Little light pew-pew thing. That just sounds so stupid. There was a steering wheel and a Pong sort of setup. That was the first thing that I had for video games. It's black and white. Loved it. It's great. Wish I still had it. After that was the Atari 2600. And then after that, it was the Nintendo, the original NES. There goes our freight train, carrying nothing. That's all right. Don't even know if it dropped anything off yet. And here we come to greet our passengers. All right. Ooh, we got some new stuff. We got all right. That's going to be useful in the next video. Very timely. All right, so we're gonna call that an episode. I'm Matt from the Rattlebunny's Den. Thanks for being here and checking it out. Like I said, if you can, click on the subscribe, and then you'll get these videos that I make served up in your home page. If you want to be notified when you do subscribe, click on the bell icon. That will send a message every time that I do release a video. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I do have a Patreon set up. It's, not necessary. It's not required. Subscriptions are free. If you want to just send me a cup of coffee to help the old man out, there is on the channel page, there is a link to PayPal donations. if you want to buy a cup of coffee or something like that. It's not necessary. Nothing I would ever require from any one of my viewers. But if you can subscribe and you throw this thing a like, that would be great if you enjoyed it. A comment would be even better. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think I need to do differently. You know, I'm not afraid of anybody's comments or anything like that, so go ahead and have at it. Just do try to be as let's try to keep things about as civilized as we can, because yeah, there's no point in anyone getting nasty online. It's just not worth it. But yeah, as for right now, you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's see, you're seeing this on Monday at about 5 o'clock. So next time we will see you will be right here on this map a week from today. Well, maybe not a week from today. It depends on when you decide to watch it. That's the beauty of streaming. But otherwise, I'm Matt from the Rattlebunny's Den. Thanks for watching.